The Interstellar Combat Academy floated in high orbit above Kepler 442b, a monument to military excellence where the galaxy's finest warriors trained. For 3 centuries, cadets from 100 worlds had walked its corridors, Thoraxians with their chitinous armor, Vulcans whose plasma-based bodies could phase through matter, and Xanthari whose 4 arms made them formidable in close combat. Humans had only joined 5 years ago, a footnote in the Academy's long history. Maya stepped off the transport shuttle, her dark eyes taking in the massive training facility through the viewport. She carried a single bag, her movements economical and precise. No fanfare, no family to see her off, just a 17-year-old girl from Earth's agricultural colonies, quieter than a shadow. William Chen noticed her immediately in the orientation hall. As a second-year human cadet, he'd been assigned to help newcomers acclimate. She stood apart from the cluster of boisterous new arrivals, her expression neutral, her posture relaxed. While others chattered nervously or boasted about their home-world achievements, Maya simply observed. First-day nerves, William approached with a friendly smile. She glanced at him briefly. No. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. William waited for elaboration that never came. After an awkward silence, he tried again. I'm William, second-year human division, if you need anything. I'm fine, thank you. Maya turned her attention back to the Academy Commandant's holographic presentation. The rejection stung, but William shrugged it off. Some people needed space. He'd learned that much in his time here. The mockery began within hours. Krathzar, a hulking Thoraxian whose exoskeleton bore scars from a dozen training victories, spotted Maya in the cafeteria. She sat alone, eating methodically, her eyes distant. Another soft human, he clicked to his companions, his translator rendering the words in standard galactic. Look at her, barely makes a sound, probably thinks staying quiet will keep her safe. His friends, a Vulcan named Spiral and a Xanthari called Four-Blade, laughed. In a place where strength determined hierarchy, Maya's silence read as weakness. Over the following days, the harassment escalated. Krathzar would bump into her in corridors, acting as if he hadn't seen her. Four-Blade would mimic her quiet responses in exaggerated whispers. Spiral phased through her locker, scattering her belongings. Maya never reacted. She'd pick up her things, reorganize them, and continue about her day. She attended lectures on interstellar warfare, studied xenobiology in the library, and completed her physical assessments without complaint. But she never spoke unless directly questioned, and even then, her answers were brief. William watched with growing frustration. He'd confronted Krathzar once, which only made things worse. The Thoraxian had simply laughed. Your species is fragile, Chen. We all know it. 200 bones that break easily, skin that tears, organs that fail. You bleed, you break, you die. And this one, he gestured at Maya's retreating figure. She won't last a week in combat trials. You don't know anything about her, William had shot back. I know she's afraid to even speak. The first combat training session arrived on a cold Monday morning, simulated naturally by the Academy's environmental controls. All first-year cadets were required to participate in non-lethal sparring matches, designed to assess their baseline combat capabilities. The training arena was a massive dome with variable gravity and terrain settings. Today, it was configured as a rocky canyon with Earth-standard gravity, a concession to the human cadets. Instructor Velmoth, a grizzled Xanthari veteran with 3 of his 4 arms bearing prosthetic replacements, addressed the assembled cadets. Combat is the universal language. Here, we learn what you truly are. Pair up. Lethal force is prohibited, but injuries are expected. Medical bays are standing by. Maya stood at the edge of the group, her expression unchanged. She wore standard Academy training gear, a flexible black bodysuit with impact-resistant plating at vital areas. Krathzar's eyes gleamed. I'll take the quiet human. Velmoth's mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Accepted. Arena 3. William felt his stomach drop. Krathzar outweighed Maya by at least 200 pounds, and Thoraxian exoskeletons were naturally armored. This wasn't a fair fight. It was a public execution of her dignity. The other cadets gathered around Arena 3, sensing drama. Maya walked to her starting position, still silent, still calm. Across from her, Krathzar cracked his chitinous knuckles, each pop echoing through the dome. "Last chance to withdraw, little human," Krathzar called out. "Save yourself the humiliation." Maya didn't respond. She simply stood there, hands loose at her sides, breathing steady. Velmoth raised one arm. "Combat protocols active. Begin on my mark." A pause. "Mark." Krathzar charged immediately, his bulk surprisingly fast. He closed the distance in 3 bounds, one massive fist swinging toward Maya's head with enough force to stun. She wasn't there. Maya had moved, not frantically but with perfect economy, letting his momentum carry him past. As he stumbled, trying to redirect, she was already moving again. Krathzar spun, unleashing a backhand that would have sent most opponents flying. Maya ducked under it, her body low, and then she struck. Her palm hit the joint between his thorax and abdomen, a weak point in Thoraxian anatomy. It wasn't a hard strike, but it was precisely placed. Krathzar's breath hitched. Before he could recover, Maya flowed around him like water. She was behind him now, and her foot swept his leg at the exact moment his weight shifted. The massive Thoraxian crashed down onto the arena floor, the impact reverberating through the deck. The watching cadets fell silent. Krathzar roared and pushed himself up, rage replacing surprise. He came at her again, faster now, using techniques from his military training, combinations that had won him tournaments. But every attack found empty air. Maya slipped through his guard like smoke, and each of her counterstrikes landed with surgical precision. A nerve cluster in his arm, it went limp. A pressure point in his leg, he stumbled. A quick strike to his throat, he gasped. William realized what he was watching. This wasn't just combat training. This was mastery. Maya's movements were so efficient they seemed simple, almost lazy. She never exerted more force than necessary, never moved more than required. While Krathzar burned energy in his fury, she remained perfectly calm, her breathing never even quickening. The fight, if it could still be called that, lasted 3 more minutes. Maya systematically dismantled Krathzar's offense, exploiting every opening, until finally she swept his legs again and, as he fell, placed her palm gently against his throat. "Yield," she said quietly, the first word she'd spoken in the arena. Krathzar, lying on his back, his body refusing to obey him properly due to the nerve strikes, had no choice. "I yield." Velmoth's mandibles clicked rapidly, the Zenthari equivalent of impressed laughter. Match concluded. Victor, Cadet Maya. As Maya helped Krathzar to his feet, an unexpected courtesy that seemed to shame him further, Velmoth addressed the assembled cadets. "Let this be your lesson. Some warriors announce themselves with noise and bravado, others let their actions speak. Cadet Maya, what is your training background?" She turned to face him, her expression still neutral. "My family's colony was attacked by pirates when I was 7. I was the only survivor. I spent the next 10 years with a monastery of Terran martial artists who rescued me. They taught me that violence should be a last resort, but when necessary, it should be absolute." William felt the pieces clicking together. Her silence wasn't weakness, it was discipline. Her calm wasn't fear, it was absolute confidence. Spiral, the Velkin who had tormented her, spoke up hesitantly. "Why didn't you say anything? Why didn't you defend yourself verbally?" Maya's eyes met his. "Words change nothing, actions do. You all needed to see, not hear." She turned and walked toward the exit, leaving the arena in stunned silence. William caught up with her in the corridor. "That was incredible. Why did you let them mock you for so long?" Maya paused, considering. When she spoke, her voice carried a quiet wisdom that seemed far older than her years. Because arrogance is self-correcting when confronted with reality. I could have told them they were wrong, but experiencing being wrong, that's what teaches. She continued walking, and William fell into step beside her. For what it's worth, he said, I think you're going to do just fine here. The corners of Maya's mouth lifted in the smallest of smiles. I know. And she did.